Welcome to Pause Your Pixels, the cozy corner of gaming where we step away from the day to hang out and chat games. Okay, gamers, welcome back. This is episode 2 of Pause Your Pixels, and I am your host, Jacob. Okay? This week, we are talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza and the Pokemon Presents that happened this week. To get us started, let's talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza. If you heard my last episode, you know that I was really excited for Bonanza coming out, and it was very highly anticipated. I said that things might change in regards to needing a Switch 2, depending on how this game went. And I gotta say, I was right. It's definitely one of those games that's you really need to experience at some point. I think it's a great jumping in point for the Switch 2. It's a game that you can play by yourself, single player experience, but it has so much charm and there's so much to it. And I really think this is gonna be one of the games that's up for game of the year. Just with how impressive it was. Um, to talk about it a little bit deeper, I think something that Donkey Kong Bonanza does that's really special is it really captures that feeling of being a kid and playing a game for the first time. Um, Kind of what that means for me is I jumped in, I knew the premise of the game, I knew I was going to be smashing a lot of stuff. I didn't know how I was going to feel when I started to actually do it. It feels really good. When I first started the game, um, they put you in an environment with a lot of destructible items, and I found myself just kind of like trying to clear an area already. Just like, what can I do? What can I not do? Trying to test the bounds of some of that smashability. You could see it, some where like the boundaries are, but getting to that point was a lot of fun. And immediately jumped in and was like, I need to keep playing this game. I need to play more. And as the game went on, it just got better. Like you're kind of introduced to the story of the game, and the story is it's really simple in premise, but it gives you like a really good instant motivation for why you're kind of jumping in and doing what you're doing. And um, you're going through these levels, or they call them sub levels in the game. You're going through each of these levels, and each one puts you in a new environment for you to kind of just play around in. It's like an open sandbox for you. And within this environment, there's several things that you're trying to do. There's the collectibles that you're trying to get, and you're trying to find the elder of the level. And getting to the elder gives you a whole lot of platforming opportunity. It gives you a whole lot of things to find, gives you a lot of different things to play around with, to where you never feel like there's nothing going on. Like there's always something for you to do around. Even if you haven't gotten to the elder, if you got a little lost, getting back to on track, you're finding more things. And I think that's something that's really special. As you are destroying the environment in front of you, you're you're finding new collectible items, you're creating new paths, you're kind of playing with the environment in ways that's engaging. So the entire time you're in there, you're doing something. And I found that to be very, very special. Um, I will say I was worried when they showed the Donkey Kong Direct that they're like showing way too much of the game. Am I going to feel a little too aware of what's happening once I'm in the game and see everything that's going on just with the amount that they showed in the Donkey Kong Direct? And at first I was feeling that a little bit, but as the game kept going, I started to see, oh wait, there's a whole lot more here. They showed us a portion of the game, I think, to get us excited for what the possibilities were, but once you're in there, you see that there's so much more. I think the platforming in the game is really unique because there's sometimes other ways that you can approach getting a certain item. So, for an example, if there's a banana that's up on this wall, you can find um, you can find something in the environment that breaks free this collectible item so that you can collect it. You can find a way up to the collectible item through different platforming obstacles, getting to different ledges, climbing on things. You can create like a bridge to get over there through the environment. So some of the stuff that you pick up is actually moldable to the environment, so you can build bridges or towers or anything that you kind of want there to help you get to an item. So I never felt like something was completely out of reach, which I really appreciated. I think that's one of the things that like the Mario Odyssey game kind of had me feeling in some moments was I don't know how to get there, and I haven't had the tools around me to understand a way to get there without trying to brute force something. And in this game, brute forcing is just like a fun option. It's not something that's going to be frustrating. Oh, let me just get this thing and go. It's going to be, oh, I can brute force my way through this because it creates a new, unique way to get to this item, which I found to be a whole lot of fun. In this game, you get unique power ups, and these power ups just open up more ways for you to play. I think as a system, they do a really good job of layering in a bunch of ways to create new methods to achieve new things. And the levels aren't locked behind those specific moments. There's places that you can revisit in the game. So if there was something that I wanted to go back and do or try to achieve in a new way, I would be able to do that. And getting back to that point still rewards you with something. So if I already collected a banana, if I go get that banana again, then it still rewards me with Banandium gems, which I can then use for various items in the game. And I found myself wanting to find a lot of the fossils in the game as collectibles because they help you unlock different cosmetics for Donkey Kong and Pauline. And those cosmetics would then give you attributes that would contribute to your play. I typically used outfits that contributed to my power ups, depending on what I was approaching. Specific the kind of like the quote unquote boss levels of the game would have contributed themselves to the power up that you received within the biome, but not necessarily lock you behind it. But that is eventually what I did. Is I used those power ups to approach those various bosses with those cosmetics, and I had a lot of fun doing that and kind of like scaling the it's like an RPG. It's like a small level up system. It's very easy to understand. There's nothing too in depth about it. They do have skills that allow you to level up different items. Like your power ups can punch bigger. You can increase your sonar for finding different objects. You can increase your heart gauge, which is ultimately what I put most of mine into in the beginning. I think that's what I default to in most games. It's just like I want to make sure I survive no matter what comes my way. I, for the most part, didn't need the hearts in the game until I reached the end game. And the game does a really good job at getting you from point A to point B without making it feel like you had to stay too long in one area, but gave you the option to do so if that's how you wanted to go about it. So if you wanted 100% this thing on your first playthrough, you absolutely could. I didn't do that, and I'm kind of glad I didn't do that because now I get to go back and revisit some of those areas now that I'm done, and I still have a plenty to do. Um, but it gives you all of those options. You're never like locked into a single way of playing, which I really enjoy. I think another thing that this game did really good was just this relationship that Donkey Kong has with Pauline. They do a really good job at playing that throughout the game with these little moments of rest that you have, so you can unlock um, rest areas in the game to replenish your hearts. And in those moments, it gives you the option to listen to dialogue from Pauline. And if you do, it gives you these little tidbits of information about the biome, about some of the creatures that you're surrounded by, or just about Pauline herself. And having that, I think, like really brings you in to the character and brings you into the relationship that's being built. And through the cutscenes, you kind of see how that relationship goes. Um, they both have these desires and motivations to get where they want to go separately. But as you get to these places, you kind of see that you're doing it for each other. And by the time you get to the end of the game, um, there's this moment of acceptance from both of their sides that they've reached their goals, and uh, DK can still go back and achieve his goals on a higher level, and just that appreciate. It's like this really nice friendship that you see blossom throughout the game. It's really wonderful. Um, and the end game, I think, was very cool. There is definitely more to the story than what the trailer and the um, Donkey Kong Direct leads on. I won't drop any spoilers here, but I think it does a really good job at celebrating where Donkey Kong has come from. And it has like a fun twist on where we're at now with game series. Both, really anything that Nintendo's done so far, it does a really good job at like setting these things up. So where Pauline has been, where we've seen Pauline in Super Mario Odyssey, where Donkey Kong has been throughout his games, does a really good job at celebrating those moments throughout the game. And in the end, provides this sort of like payoff of the world that Nintendo is putting us in now. We're seeing what Nintendo is kind of setting up and how things are connected through Odyssey, through Donkey Kong Bonanza, and what I'm assuming is going to be through future Mario games and any other characters they decide to bring in. I would love a new Yoshi game that is set up like this as well. Yoshi's another favorite character of mine. Yoshi and Donkey Kong being my favorites from the Mario series from when I was a child. So I would love to see Yoshi come into this mix. But having a Donkey Kong game that truly celebrates where Donkey Kong has come from, incorporates a lot of the stuff that we know about him so far, and it puts it into something that feels both new and nostalgic at the same time, is I think just like a really wonderful job that I think the team has done. I think everyone should play this game. I don't think you should miss out on it. Just whenever you get a Switch 2, I think it should be one of the first ones in your rotation. It's a really wonderful time, and it's not a super long game. Like I've already beaten the game after about 18 hours maybe, um, and I still have more to do. So I've beaten the game, but there's still more to go back to. So I'm still going to put plenty of hours into it, but it's not. I think it's very respectful of your time, um, and allows you to choose how you want to spend that time in the game. So kudos to this team for delivering something I think that's truly special. I think this could potentially be my game of the year. It's up there with the likes of like Blueprints and Split Fiction. But it's really wonderful. I think this has become my definitive Donkey Kong game, and I'm looking forward to what more this team has in store. I think this game is proving that it doesn't just have to be Mario. You don't have to just give all the other characters little side games or ship them off to another studio. You can make a good Donkey Kong game and it can do really well, and people can really connect to it. I think this proves that really well. So I'm looking forward to what the team has in store next. It's probably going to be another Mario, which is, is what it is. I'll try it out and play it. I'm not a huge Mario fan just because I don't really connect with the character very much. And typically the gameplay is a little, I feel like a little too platformy. I know it's a weird thing to say, but I tend to get a little lost in the sauce when it comes to the platforming in Mario games. And like, I'm not typically connected to the story that's happening. And it's like, I don't understand my motivation so much. And I feel like I'm just kind of like in these environments trying to do something that I don't really necessarily want to do. But I think they came a long way with Donkey Kong Bonanza and really allowing the players to choose how they approached the game. And for that, I think any game that comes out from this point is going to be better because of it. I think they did a really great job. So yeah, great game. Highly recommend. Definitely play it. Next, I want to dive into the world of Pokemon. So Pokemon Presents happened earlier this week, and we got a lot of information. Not too much that I'm super stoked about outside of Legends ZA and Pokemon Champions, which are the two games coming out that are on my most anticipated list. You had your typical updates for like Pokemon Go. We saw that there is an update for Pokemon Cafe Remix, for Pokemon Unite. So kind of, your typical like mobile game stuff. They also showed off an updated look at Pokemon Concierge. So like, I don't think they're calling it season 2. They're calling it season 1 part 2. So new episodes for Pokemon Concierge, which if you haven't seen Pokemon Concierge, it's on Netflix. It's a nice watch, easy watch, and it's really cute and adorable. Would highly recommend. So I'm really looking forward to Concierge's new episodes. They also have a new show from another stop motion company, Aardman, who does like the Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run movies. They're making a series called, what was it? The Misadventures of Sirfetch'd and Pichu. So this is going to be a new series, which I imagine is going to be in the same vein as Concierge, just more on the Pokemon side. Whereas Concierge, you see through the lens of someone as a new concierge at a Pokemon hotel and like retreat. This one is going to be through the lens of Sirfetch'd and Pichu, more of a Pokemon focus. I don't know if there's going to be any people in it or not, but it should be a very good show if Aardman is touching it. So I'm expecting that to be a fun time. I'm really looking forward to that as well. They showed off a Poke Park that is coming to it's an outdoor park in Japan. I don't know if it's like an amusement park or what the whole vibe of the park is. It seems to be more like a botanical garden situation with possibly just some other things that are happening there, but they're essentially creating a lot of the routes from the Kanto games into the park. So they actually they showed like little previews of it where they have the walkway set up in the grid format from the Kanto games where you're walking from point A to point B, and they've got the grass on the side, like the little ledges. And they will have a Pokemon Center and a Pokemart to visit as well. I think that's like the most exciting part of this park, is that you'll be able to visit these places. I assume we'll be able to get like food or some merchandise items, like gift shop item situation. But in terms of like the Pokemon they have there. It seems like it's just going to be statues, which is okay, I guess. I would love to see if they find ways to make it a little more interactive, maybe with like your phone and like apps and doing some kind of like Pokemon Snap situation. I think would be really neat. But I think it's just cool that they're working on that and they're making that. And if it's successful, I'd hope to see it come to other places around the world for people to visit. That's really cool. To kind of get into what I'm most excited about, we'll start with Pokemon Champions. Pokemon Champions is going to be a competitive first Pokemon game all about Pokemon battles. So the battles, I believe you have the choice between single and double format. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they showed off double format because that's what's used in Pokemon at Pokemon Worlds and through tournaments that are had through VGC. They use a doubles format, so they showed a lot of that. This seems to be a direct response to what Pokemon Showdown is. If you're not familiar with Pokemon Showdown, it's like a browser game where you can go in, choose a Pokemon, choose exactly what kind of IVs it has, tune its stats exactly how you want it, give it the ability that you want, and then put it on a team and go test those teams out against other trainers that are using teams that they've built. In this game, you'll be able to customize those IVs, so those stats. You'll be able to customize the abilities and stuff. It's going to come through in an in-game system called VP, victory points, that you earn by playing. You'll be able to turn in those victory points and use them to alter stats and abilities and get items, I'm sure. And you'll take that, and that's going to be competitive Pokemon. I can see this bit taking over as like the main series, because the main series you have to update with each game. And like right now, it's Scarlet and Violet is the competitive game. So you're using the Scarlet and Violet system, using those battle mechanics. I could see this being the new competitive stakeholder. Like this is going to be what we use for VGC Worlds is Pokemon Champions. I could see it having your Megas, your Dynamax, your terastallizing, your Z moves. I could see it having all of those things. I don't know if it would be in a rotation, if you could do them all at once, have it all throughout the team. I don't know how they would manage that or if they just get rid of them altogether. But I could see this being how Pokemon Worlds goes forward just by using champions. It's more of a stadium style experience where that's really all you're there to do is you're there to go and jump in and battle online with other people and test out new teams, train your Pokemon in ways that are unique to how you want to build them. And I'm really looking forward to that. I really got into competitive in Sword and Shield. They did a really good job at getting me in that game. I fell off in Scarlet and Violet because it didn't feel as fun or inviting in this one as it did with Sword and Shield. But this one being a dedicated experience, I think is going to make it very, very fun. And good for anyone to jump in and try out competitive for the first time. It seems like it's going to be very accessible for folks. It's going to explain a lot about why you'd want different values of stats. And there's going to be a lot of tools and resources in this game for if it's your first time. And then to round us out, we got a bigger look at Pokemon Legends ZA, Pokemon Legends ZA. And I'm so much more excited now. Like I was already excited about Pokemon Legends ZA, but this look gave a look into the story that we're doing. It gave a look at some of the side stuff that we could do, some of our motivations in game. It gave us more of a look at the battle system. You see, like the battle system is not your standard turn-based format. You're able to move freely. It seems like they may have gotten rid of the PP system and have moved into more of cooldown system. It'll be interesting to see how that plays with different moves, but also with different Pokemon. And if there's going to be moves that can play with those cooldowns in a specific way. But overall, very, very excited. Emma's coming back from X and Y. which I think we all kind of knew from the cover art that came out. We saw Emma on the front of that, but we got confirmation here. AZ is going to be a part of the story. It seems that we're using his hotel as a central hub for our operations. It's probably also where we're staying because we are, if I remember correctly, we are visiting Lumios from the outside, from another city. We weren't born and raised in Lumios. We're visiting Lumios, so we're probably staying at this hotel, and which is why we're using it as a hub. We've been recruited with a few other people to investigate uncontrollable mega evolutions that are happening out in the wild. And by the wild, we mean wild zones that are set up within the city. I still don't know if we'll be able to exit the city or visit different cities. Not sure about that yet. Would be really cool. But we have wild zones within the city. And within those wild zones, it seems that there's going to be certain Pokemon that are evolving into megas uncontrollably. There might be some lore to play into that where mega evolutions actually cause pain to the Pokemon. I hope there's a way that they can explain that it's not every mega that happens. It's just when it's uncontrollable. And so that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to help. Because I always feel bad about doing a mega evolution. I'm like, this is bringing the Pokemon pain. I don't enjoy this. So we'll see how that works. We actually got to look at the professor, which is Professor Mabel. And this is the same Mabel that was a Team Flame scientist from X and Y. So it's like, I'm curious about that backstory there, the conversion from being an antagonist to now helping us on our journey as the protagonist. That'll be very interesting. And this does take place after X and Y. So it isn't in the future from X and Y. It seems to be about anywhere from 15 to possibly 35 years, which is a wide gap. We'll see if there's anything in the game that helps us figure that out. But it's cool to see how the city's changed. It's going to be cool to traverse the city and see what all it has in store for us. Speaking of stores, we're going to be able to buy a lot of clothes in this game, which I am so excited about. I love customizing characters. Scarlet and Violet was atrocious with this because we just had the school uniforms for like summer, winter, fall. It was awful. It's like, you want to buy a different hat? You could do that. They look terrible, but you could do that. This one looks amazing. You can customize your hair, your eyes, your gradients of color in hair. You can get hats, you can get different outfits, like different backpacks. There's so much customization here. I'm glad they kept that around from X and Y because Lumios is the fashion city. So it's great that we get to like play with that fashion in a way that's going to be meaningful to us. Looking forward to that. And we got to look at Mega Dragonite. This has had the community split, I think, online. I think a lot of people are just like, Dragonite's always been a derpy little guy. Let him keep being a derpy little guy. Some people just absolutely do not like the design. I'm on derpy little guy train. He's always been a derpy little guy. His evolution has never really made sense from Dratini to Dragonair to Dragonite. It just doesn't make sense. So it is what it is. I'm really excited that Dragonite's getting a mega. It's not always in the mega form, you know. I don't think most mega forms are better than their standard forms anyways. So it's just for that battle, you know. He goes back to being your regular little guy afterwards. So I'm not too torn up about it. I think he looks fine. But those were the Pokemon updates that I'm excited about. Was there anything I missed? I don't think so. I'm really looking forward to Pokemon. I'm really happy with Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's been a good week for Jacob. Thank you for being a part of this conversation with me and for hanging out and for chatting video games with me. It's always a wonderful time. And we have more in store. I've got some ideas that I'm cooking up. I'm going to have some collaborations in the future that you can look forward to. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out with me on my journey. But until next time, may your health bar stay full and your pixels stay sharp. Later, gamers.